Dem candidates talk gay rights. Impeachment, the saga continues. And AOC, Rihanna, and Little League football? We got some wild cards coming up for you. I'm Jamal Simmons. Here's why you should care. Last night, 9 presidential hopefuls attended CNN's Equality Town Hall, where candidates discussed LGBTQ rights. Senator Bernie Sanders originally intended to be at the town hall, but he's still recovering from his recent heart attack, so he wasn't able to show up. The town hall, co-sponsored by the Human Rights Campaign, was both timely and historic, occurring the evening just before National Coming Out Day, today. And in the same week, the Supreme Court heard 2 cases focusing on LGBTQ employment protections under the Civil Rights Act. Though there had been a forum on LGBTQ issues a few months ago, this televised town hall offered candidates a chance to share on a larger platform how they would implement policies that support equality for all American citizens, regardless of who you love. This, as the Trump administration has been chipping away at LGBTQ rights with policies such as implementing a transgender military ban and rejecting the Equality Act. Mayor Pete Buttigieg, the first openly gay presidential candidate, talked about how he would support the passage of the Equality Act, ban conversion therapy, and balance religious freedom with LGBTQ rights. Elizabeth Warren also had a standout moment when she was asked about confronting someone with traditional religious views on marriage.
And I'm going to say, then just marry one woman. I'm cool with that. Assuming you can find one.
Former Vice President Joe Biden caused a stir online. At one point, he went back in time to talk about gay bathhouses in San Francisco, and a lot of people were put off. Biden did lead the Obama White House to supporting marriage equality, but once again, he might have tripped over his long memory and long public record while talking to a modern audience. And no, despite the joke, Joe did not come out to Anderson Cooper. We'll see the 2020 Democrats, including Bernie, on the debate stage for the 4th Democratic primary debate next week. The Trump White House has battles waging on several fronts right now. Let's start down the list. Yesterday, we walked you through the state of play in Syria after President Trump's last-minute decision to ditch our Kurdish allies in favor of Turkey. Thousands of Kurds are being displaced and being killed in the fighting. The international and domestic outcry is growing. Meanwhile, Trump's personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, has been doing business with a couple of Soviet-born Floridians that were nicked by the feds at Dulles Airport on Thursday while trying to leave the country. This happened just hours after lunching with Giuliani at the Trump Hotel. The feds are saying these guys, Igor Fruman and Lev Parnas, were trying to funnel money from foreign sources into the U.S. election. They are also reported to have been helping Giuliani on the Ukraine-Biden story that launched the impeachment inquiry. Neither Giuliani nor the president have been implicated in the pending charges. That brings us to impeachment and a conversation that can't be going over well in the Oval Office. Newsweek is reporting that some Democrats and others are starting to think more seriously about a Mike Pence presidency. Some Pence friends are saying the 60-year-old former member of Congress and governor and current vice president would run for the White House himself if the improbable happens and Donald Trump is off the scene. So we ran a poll this week that looked at this question, and we found that between Pence and Trump, half of Americans want to see Mike Pence as president. 51% said so. That includes 79% of Democrats, 47% of independents, and 21% of Republicans. Maybe this is the reason why President Trump went full guns blazing at his rally last night.
Hunter, you know nothing about energy. You know nothing about China. You know nothing about anything, frankly. Hunter, you're a loser. Why did you get $1.5 billion, Hunter?
Now, why you should care? We're living through history, and Politico is reporting some in the White House are worried about the Republican Senate and who would stick by the president in an impeachment trial. Of course, today, conviction in the Senate looks improbable, but polls are shifting, and if the Democratic narrative picks up steam, anything could happen. It's been a heavy week, so we're going to switch gears and finish this Friday off with a few WYSC wildcards. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez was raked over the coals this week after a right-leaning paper, the Washington Times, published an article challenging the authenticity of AOC's progressive policies after sources tipped them that the Congresswoman paid $300 for a haircut. The article also speculated on the tip and quoted a conservative analyst who said AOC, quote, preaches socialism while living the life of the privileged. AOC shot back in a tweet, 40 million Americans live in poverty, yet the right wing wants you to blame democratic socialism for their own failures. She defended progressive policies and said critics are just mad we look good doing it. Another wildcard story, superstar turned fashion mogul Rihanna got political in an interview with Vogue published this week. She was candid about turning down the halftime show at this year's Super Bowl to stand in solidarity with Colin Kaepernick. And when asked about President Trump, the singer and fashion mogul called him the most mentally ill human being in America. Ouch. And here's one for the history books. The nation's capital celebrated the historic win of the Washington Mystics Thursday night. The women took the WNBA crown for the first time in team history. The finals came down to a head-to-head matchup against the Connecticut Sun, but in the end, the Mystics just had too much fire. Congratulations, ladies. It was fun to watch the show. And speaking of fire, this Little League football player poured his heart and soul and vocal cords into firing up his fellow teammates before game time.
Have passion. Be determined. Be this team. Be a maverick. And when we get on that field, let's show the Cisco Lobos how to be a maverick. We can beat them anywhere. We can go to New England, for goodness sake, play in the snow, and still beat them. Yes, sir. Yeah.
I don't know about you, but like this kid, I'm determined to finish this crazy week off and head to the weekend. So long. Thanks for watching Hill TV on YouTube. Be sure to click subscribe and hit the bell so you know when we post new videos. And head to thehill.com for all the latest political news.